Okay, we are back with Screencast number 2 in section 3 of option A. The next 3 screencasts, 2, 3, and 4, are going to concern the eye. The first one, parts and functions, sensory structures, photoreception, how light and what light does with the impulse and all that sort of stuff, and then visual processing by the brain. Okay, this is, I kid you not, the 6th time I've tried to get this done. I have been interrupted 5 times. I'm getting through this now. All right, so first one here is the first parts and functions. We got to label an eye. All right, the eye here is going to be attached to this screencast so that you're able to get it off for your diagram notebook. All right, okay, so let's take a look at it. The eye, as you can see, consists actually, the major part of the eye is its 2 fluid-filled cavities. And the fluid-filled cavities are separated by the lens. Let's bring the lens down here. This is our lens right there. Right here, the structure of the lens. And you have 2 fluid-filled cavities, one here and one there. All right, so up front here, you've got the aqueous humor, and then you've got the vitreous humor. All right, the aqueous humor and the vitreous humor. All right, so fluid fill, bigger. So the whole cavity back here is fluid filled with vitreous humor and your lens. All right, so the lens, just to conclude a little something with your lens here, your lens has a muscle attached on either side. You see it right here and right there, called the ciliary muscle, which contracts and relaxes to change the focus of the lens. All right, so the ciliary muscle you've got there. All right, that sounds good there. All right, so let's go down into the center portion of the eye there. The amount of light that enters the eye via the pupil. All right, so we have our pupil right here. I'm actually move that out just a tad because the pupil is the black dot. The pupil is not part of the lens. So say the opening right here is the pupil. Light enters through here, but the regulation of that light comes from, let's bring it down, from the iris. The iris right here and right there. The iris is the colored portion of the eye, which constricts and dilates, gets smaller and larger in order to allow light to either not get through or to get through, depending on the amount of light that there is. All right. The exposed portion of the eye, which we're talking about right here. Let's go right here. I'm trying to draw it in correctly. There. So I'm going to take this and just move it down a little further. So it's near the exposed portion of the eye. Right there is called the cornea. All right. The outer surface of the cornea, the cornea is lubricated by the outer surface, which is called the conjunctiva. So notice that's right really on the line right here. So cornea, all right, conjunctiva, and you ever hear of pink eye? Conjunctivitis, pink eye. All right, so the cornea is continuous with the whites of your eye. So after the front, the rest of that is the white of your eye, and that is called the sclera, which is a protective covering. So you have the outermost protective covering, the sclera. You have the middle portion. Let's get my labelings here correct here. All right, you have the middle portion, which is the choroid. There we have it. And it's in here, this right here, the red-orange portion right there. And the inner portion, the yellow, which is the retina. So the retina, you should see, is continuous with what we call the optic nerve. All right? Now we just have a couple of wrap-ups here. So you have a spot that is called the fovea, or it's actually called, I believe, the fovea centralis. And the fovea centralis is a set of special nerves where in near the retina, responsible for the sharpest vision, focal point. That's what fovea centralis actually means, or fovea for short. So let's take our fovea and bring it down here. That's the truth. And don't we all have a blind spot? Yes, you do. Notice the blind spot where there is no nerve tissue at all right in front there. All right, so there you have a labeled portion of the eye. Let me just check my eyes to make sure we have it correctly the way I want it. Of course, the eyelid is not on here, but if it was, we could label that as well. So you'll be able to go back and see the parts, which I'll run off for you here really quickly and what they are there. All right, to bring it all down. This way it's up there. So, all right. So notice things that I didn't say. All right. The blind spot is called the optic disc. All right. And blind spot, no sensory neurons there. All right. And you have the supportive four portions of the eye, little functionality here, supportive, the humors of the supportive. We talked about light entering, light regulated. All right. Focusing. Now notice the cornea, the sclera, the conjunctiva, the choroid, all protective layers to a sense there. All right. So nerve signals from the, there's one more here. I knew it. Nerve signals that go to the optic nerve, all right, that go to the optic nerve come off of the retina, which are composed of rod and cone cells. So rod and cone cells, well, that's our jump off to the next screencast, which is going to be on photoreception. So again, parts and function of the eye, keep this one handy. And I finally got this one done.